Good morning. It's time for book picks, and we are very, very happy to have one of our dearest friends join us this morning. Joan Grenier from the Odyssey Bookshop in South Hadley, Massachusetts, is with us. Not only is she here to bring a list of great books for us to read, but she brought a real-life author with her. Isn't that cool? A former bookseller who is now a published author and has a fantastic new book out, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. So I welcome Joan. We'll get to Hannah in a moment. And welcome. How are you?
I'm recovering from a cold. And also...
All right. Can we do anything?
That,
would you like a tissue, or are we all right?
No, I brought my
you got
own.
some. All right.
I have
You have lozenges?
lozenges.
We're good.
So
all right.
I have water.
You're hydrated. You're all good. All right. Where would you like to begin?
I want to start with Abraham Verghes's book, The Covenant of Water.
I love this book.
I love it too. This is a love fest with us because we love the same book.
Yeah. No, it's just an astonishing read. I think he's going to be on the book show next week.
Oh, I hope so.
Meaning, I've already taped it, but I believe it's scheduled to air.
Oh, good.
Next Tuesday, and he is a fantastic writer. Tell us about The Covenant of Water.
Well, it is remarkable. It's set in Kerala on the southwest coast of India, but also in the city of Madras. It's 700 wonderful pages. You have to read every page. And it chronicles the first 7 decades of the 20th century through the lives of various characters, 3 generations of a family. And it's just an astounding scope, this novel. Themes, this is a whole list of themes because they're all in there. Family, love, secrets, sacrifice, addiction, death, faith, medicine. He's a doctor, so there's always some medicine in his amazing books. Community, caste, colonialism, and post-colonialism. The landholders and the landless, the bonds of feminine friendship, and the changing status of women. I would wake up early to read this book, and I would stay up late to continue immersing myself in this history. I really never wanted the book to end. It's stunning, and as soon as I have some free time, I'm going to read it again.
Yes, I agree. No, it's just such a beautiful book. His sentences are glorious, and the so much of the story is about water, and the theme of water just plays a part of whether it's a damp floor or tea in a cup. Mm-hmm. It's really fascinating.
But it's also a haunting element. For the
family and what has plagued them for over those 7 decades.
And I did find the medical information, like leprosy.
Yes, and he is a physician, and so it's an amazing. It's an amazing read.
Cutting for Stone was so popular for so many years, and we've been waiting. I don't know, it's a dozen years, I think.
13 years.
13.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the book of the summer, I think.
The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese. Okay.
I think I'm into 700-page books this is my second one here, with John Sayles.
I read that one too.
Okay,
but
all right.
Go ahead.
All right.
But this is actually I will tell you the first part of the conversation that I had with Abraham Verghese on the book show was, why are people afraid of 700 and 800 page books? Like I came out of reading, especially his. I came out reading, thinking to myself, well, I wish there was another 500 pages of this. This is beautiful.
The other one I read a little bit earlier is The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois.
Yeah, very long book as well. But this John Sayles' book is terrific, and also it's a long story about a swath of time.
It is. It starts with the Battle of Culloden, where that was lost. Jamie McGillivray is captured. He's almost hung twice. He's in a horrible prison. I do want to remind people that John Sayles is an actor, and he must be a linguist, because part of it is in Scottish brogue. And when I first started reading it, I put it down for a while. I said, you got to really concentrate.
It's hard. Yeah.
And there's French. But Jamie, the character, is also a linguist, which is why he is. So he's taken to this country, although we're not a country yet, as an indentured servant. He eventually is captured by, and that's a horrible experience. This is not for the faint of heart. There's some pretty difficult
gory,
scenes.
Yes.
Gory, yes. Gory is a good word. And he's captured by the Lenape. And his language has really come into great use during this time. This is during the French and what we call the French and Indian War, but it's really the French and British War. And the indigenous people are trying to decide who's going to screw them less, basically. So they kind of go back and forth. There's another character, Jenny, who they meet briefly at the Battle of Culloden, and she is sent off to Martinique and then to Quebec. And so it's really this period of history that he delves into, and I just found it fascinating. I love this book.
It is John Sayles, and it's Jamie McGillivray, The Renegade's Journey. Yes.
And now I'm going to turn it over to Hannah to talk about her absolutely terrific book.
Hannah, help me with your last name. Mushabek?
Mushabek, that's right.
Mushabek. And Hannah was a bookseller at Odyssey for a long time. And then now you have your own book out.
That's right.
And we congratulate you on that. That is a terrific accomplishment.
A much shorter book.
It is, yes, that's true. But I'm sure
and with pictures.
no less difficult to get those ideas down. Homeland: My Father's Dreams of Palestine is the book. How did this come about?
Yeah, so, I've been working in book selling and then in publishing for 10 years. And in all of the time that I worked, I never saw any children's books about Palestine or even that had Palestinian American representation. So I decided to take that into my own hands when I wrote this book. It is a memoir picture book. So it is about my family and it is about their story, particularly about my father and how he would share the love of his homeland with his daughters through storytelling. So it's an ode to storytelling. It's a celebration of transferred memory. And this story that he tells us in this book is the last time that he visited Palestine when he was 11 years old.
What is it like? How do you envision it being read and enjoyed by its target audience, which of course is children?
Yeah, so the book came about after a great conversation that I had with a Vietnamese friend of mine, and both of us talked about a longing that we had for homelands that maybe didn't exist in the same way as they do now. So this is a book not only just for Palestinian Americans, but any families who have experienced displacement. And it's a reminder to celebrate the places that you come from. And I hope for children who haven't been displaced that they will read this and then start to ask their own family questions about, where did we come from? How did we get here? And so that was sort of the inspiration behind the journey.
Kirkus, writing about the book, says, "It's a stirring tale with details that evoke the senses, a beautiful tale of family, love for a lost homeland, and remembrance." Beautiful words. The book is Homeland: My Father Dreams of Palestine. I think it's really cool when you bring in authors. I like that.
Okay. Well, my next book is a Palestinian memoir called We Could Have Been Friends, My Father and I, by Raja Shahadi. And he's a well-known Palestinian writer, lawyer, and activist. And in this memoir, he shares how he's going through his deceased father's papers, and he realizes how little he understood his father's life and important work he did. His father, Aziz, was murdered in 1985, and he was a very well-respected lawyer, spent decades fighting for the rights of Palestinians, opposing British rule, Jordanian rule, and the State of Israel. They were forced out of their home in 1948 in Jaffa. always expecting to return once the war was over. They never were allowed to, which is a fate shared with 750,000 displaced Palestinians. And the impact of the many legal and political struggles, and even his father was in prison for a time, took a heavy toll on Aziz. And Raja deeply regrets that he did not understand more clearly his father's anger and disappointment and how that affected their relationship. So it's really, a father-son memoir with a interesting historical context. And he will be with us on Tuesday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
We Could Have Been Friends, My Father and I, a Palestinian memoir by Raza
Shahadi, I think.
Okay. My Father and I. Excellent.
Dennis Lehane's new book, which really isn't a mystery.
No. I mean, even crime, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're back in this country and in Boston, the summer of 1974, right before the court ordered segregation of busing of children from South Boston and Roxbury, which were two of the communities that had the worst school systems. But Lehane really is very skillful in capturing the protests, the racism and anger in South Boston, partly because he watched it as a 9-year-old.
Right.
He was in Dorchester. And he describes the story through the story of Mary Pat Fennessy, the complexities, the irrationalities, the contradictions, and the short-sightedness of white rage, as well as the deep love for her missing daughter. Lehane exposes the role of the Irish mob, not only in the protests, but also the drug trade, which they dominated. And that would be Whitey Bulger.
It's really an amazing novel. It's kind of perfect Dennis Lehane fare.
I think it's his best.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I had him. He'll be on the book show coming up too, and he hints that this may be his last novel, and I hope that's not the case.
Sometimes I feel maybe I shouldn't come because you've already talked about all these.
No.
You talked to these authors.
I don't review them. I talk to people.
You interview them.
Yeah, you're the ones who are on the front line selling these things.
Okay. I was being facetious.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So the next book is coming out in June from Soho Crime, and it's called Killingly.
I know nothing about this book.
Well, you must.
Never even heard of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Set in Mount Holyoke in 97. Mount Holyoke. And Mount Holyoke College is this college that's across the street from the Odyssey.
Right.
The oldest women's college in the country, although some people debate that. A student goes missing.
Your alma mater.
No.
Is that not true?
I don't have a college degree.
Oh, okay. I thought you went to... Did
No.
you go to Mount Holyoke? Okay, none of my
She's just very well read.
How many times do I have to tell you no?
No. I for some reason thought, but go ahead.
The store has been across the street for 60 years. By
Gotcha.
the way, we're celebrating our anniversary this fall. Anyway, this student goes missing, and this is real life story. It never was resolved. So Catherine Bootner, who has written the book, has imagined it. But it really, they're searching the upper lake, which I walk around almost every morning. I didn't today because I had to come here. But searching for the body, and there, the Miss Mead is the president, and there's a mead hall at Mount Holyoke. But it really talks a lot about the situation of women at that time, right before the 20th century, and the father of the missing Bertha Mellish is her name, is running around with his other daughter trying to find out what has happened. And so it goes into a lot of what the limited options for women, even though they were at a women's college, were. And of course, I can't give away the end, but It's very startling. And we're very excited because Catherine is going to be around this weekend when it's graduation weekend at Mount Holyoke, and next weekend when it's reunion 2 at Mount Holyoke. And she will be in the store signing just those 2 weekends because the book is not released yet. We had special permission for her to come.
Excellent. It's Catherine Butner Killingly.
And that's a town in Connecticut.
I see. All right.
So,
Well, it all comes together eventually. We have about 3 minutes.
okay. Well, my last book, well, maybe Hannah could tell you a little bit more about her book, and then I'll go to my last book.
Okay.
Sure. So Joan's putting me on the spot here.
What more would you like to tell us?
You could talk about the illustrations too, because they are amazing.
That's right.
Would help. It's a complete package.
That's right. So I don't know if we mentioned, but this is a picture book that just came out in March. The illustrator is also a debut. So this is her first time illustrating a book, and she lives in Kuwait, and was so incredible to work with. Over the course of her working on this book, I must have sent her hundreds and hundreds of photos from my family's archive,
which you can kind of see in the end pages.
That's right. She used them for the end pages. So when you open the book, you see black and white photos. Those are photos of my family in Palestine. And when you flip to the back of the book, you see the photos in color, which are my family in the diaspora. So it was a really beautiful experience working with her. And, on one of the last pages, my favorite page, while the girls are dreaming of their homeland, she actually depicts illustrations of the girls interacting with their ancestors, imagining a time when the occupation had never happened, a time when Palestine was free. So it means so much to see this reality depicted in illustrations, and I think she did a really wonderful job.
It's beautiful.
Reem Madhu.
That's right.
Beautiful, beautiful work. Again, the name of the book is Homeland, My Father Dreams of Palestine. All right, Hannah.
Just quickly to announce,
Yes.
because she is coming, Drinking from Graveyard Wells, stories by Yvette Lisa and Duluv, I think. And she is from Zimbabwe. It's a wonderful collection of stories. She is an MFA student at UMass Amherst with her BA from Cornell. And it's really a story that tells you about the lives of African women. And I don't know why I don't read more short stories, because I read some of these and they were just great.
Yeah, there's some wonderful collections out.
But she will be coming June 20th. And we're very excited about that.
There are many events coming to the Odyssey. You can check them out at odysseybks.com. They have a beautiful schedule there that you can see and find out all of the cool things happening there. odysseybks.com. odysseybks.com. We have the book list on our website at wamc.org/roundtable. Joan and Hannah, I thank you so much for being with us. It's such a pleasure to have you here talking about great books, and we look forward to having you come back when we can really focus on your 60th anniversary.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Very fun.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the beautiful book.
Appreciate it.
Really good stuff. All right. Well, you can find out more Odyssey BK